Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me here in this webinar from the hill country of Texas, North San Antonio, on a very important subject on natural treatments for hypothyroidism. In this webinar, we're going to talk about the different types of hypothyroidism according to Ayurveda, and even understand different thyroid diseases according to Ayurveda. Dietary guidelines, of course, we'll cover to some degree, and of course, herbal remedies for the different types of thyroid conditions. Of course, as we know, hypothyroid is a condition where the thyroid gland fails to secrete sufficient, T4 and T3 hormones. And a hyperthyroid, of course, is when there's an oversecretion of these hormones. And thyroiditis, or Hashimoto's, is where the immune system attacks the thyroid gland, which is, of course, shaped like a butterfly. And in many cases, you can feel it here to get information about it. And in those cases, the thyroid gland is inflamed due to the immune system attacking it. And initially, it can become hyper, and then later it can become hypo due to the damage from the immune system attacking it. Of course, hypothyroid in Ayurveda is mainly a kapha condition. Hyperthyroidism is a pitta condition, but both can be caused by imbalances of vata vrudi, high vata. And thyroiditis, of course, is high pitta with the immune system attacking the tissue. So different causes of hypothyroidism, which is our subject today. I do have another video on thyroid conditions covering hyperthyroid and thyroiditis, but in this video we're only going to cover hypothyroidism. So typical causes are, of course, radiation, surgery. Sometimes part of the thyroid gland is removed. Vaccines, viruses, bacteria can affect the thyroid gland, including HIV. And many types of medications can adversely affect the thyroid gland, pituitary gland malfunction, and of course, the wrong diet, particularly a low iodine diet or iodine deficiency, can also adversely affect your thyroid and lead to this hypothyroid condition, as well as environmental toxins, including many chemicals, PCBs they're called, which are found in a lot of bottled water as such, also can affect the thyroid gland. So these are typical causes. Typical symptoms, as we know, are fatigued, lower heart rate, because we know these thyroid hormones are managing our heart rate, the growth of our body, digestion, and most systems and organs in the body are managed from the thyroid hormones. So when they're hypo, where there's lack of these hormones, then we have fatigue, decreased heart rate, even hearing loss can result, weight gain, memory problems, and even depression. So other symptoms can be numbness, tingling, because it does involve the nerve system, weakness, dry skin, swollen eyelids, dryness of skin, extreme sensitivity to cold, particularly in the morning, the body's feeling cold, constipation, and for women they could have irregular menstrual periods, and even the voice can become more hoarse. So there's many signs and symptoms, but not every person has the same symptoms, and unfortunately there's a lot of misdiagnosis with thyroid conditions because of this wide range of symptoms. Now, according to Ayurveda, which is a different way of looking at the human body and different way of diagnosing it, because the true diagnosis in Ayurveda allows you to understand what the causes are. Of course, in modern medicine, we take hormone replacement, therapy for this type of condition of hypothyroidism, and you're expected to continue to take this hormone replacement for the rest of your life, and this can create a dependence, and even your thyroid function can decrease over years of taking this hormone replacement therapy. Ayurveda, on the other hand, seeks to understand the cause and identify the cause, which would identifies the different type of hypothyroid condition based on the different cause, and then treat the cause. So, according to Ayurveda, the thyroid gland is part of the sixth tissue, or the mejadatsu, or nerve tissue. It's controlled by kapha, so dense, heavy. The actual gland itself is related to the endocrine system, so this is kapha by nature. And its function is by pitta, the fire. All metabolic activity in the body is dominated by pitta, the fire energy, and of course when the thyroid gland is not producing this fire, this metabolic activity is reduced, and the person themselves has less fire, less appetite, less digestion, slower metabolism, and this leads to weight gain. So that's the fire aspect of the thyroid gland. It's built by kapha, the structure, and its action is by pitta. And of course vata can affect both pitta and kapha, so vata can be behind it. In the case of kapha, which is most common type of a thyroid condition, because we have to diagnose this hypothyroidism. Well, what is causing it? And of course in Ayurveda, the energetic causes behind all conditions are imbalances of vata, pitta, kapha, these energies. So the most common is the imbalance of kapha, the excess of kapha, kapha vrudi. So it results in manda agni, or dull digestion. So the person who has the cause related to high kapha usually has manda agni, or dull digestion, and very low appetite, not hungry, and a big film over their tongue. So if they're slow, sluggish, cold in the morning, and have many of these other symptoms, and they have a white film on their tongue and very low appetite, it's this low digestion, this low digestive fire, this lack of pitta, panchaka pitta in particular, and pitta in the, or agni, we should say, in the nervous system itself, or agni in the thyroid gland, its own ability to digest is not there and process and secrete these hormones. It's not happening because either kapha, it's clogged, vata, which can lead to clogging through dryness. If the person is oily and heavy, and then we know that there's probably congestion due to kapha. And if they're dry, then there's congestion due to vata. And in most cases, pitta is low and the person is cold, and appetite is low and digestion is poor. So, first it has to be classified, then can be treated. But in this case, to make a matter simple, we're going to focus on the kapha type, because this is the most typical type of cause of hypothyroidism, kapha. And what is kapha? Kapha is heavy, dense, slow, stagnant. And how do you increase kapha? And it's cooling, cold. How do you increase it? Heavy foods, meat, cheese, dairy, yogurt, lack of exercise. These will all increase kapha, increase weight, and increase congestion in the lymphatic system, and ultimately congestion and blockage in the thyroid gland. And cold water, cold drinks, drinking cold fluids will make this thyroid gland less productive, because coldness coagulates the hormone and prevents it from excreting and staying very liquid. So cold drinks can be one of the causes of this condition. Ice water, iced tea, particularly with meals, ice cream, anything cold can aggravate it. Heavy foods, particularly yogurt, can make it worse. So it's like a chicken and the egg. We know that the heavy foods and obesity can contribute to this condition, as high cholesterol can, which is another kapha condition. But also when the thyroid gland is slow and not secreting much of its hormones, then metabolism drops and weight continues to go up, even with exercise and dieting. So in Ayurveda, we have to treat the kapha in most cases, unless It's a thin, dry, light person who's maybe feeling cold and starting to gain weight for the first time. And we see a lot of vata symptoms like cold body temperature, cold feet, dry, hard stools, and a more anxiety and nerve issues. Then we know that vata is behind this blockage. But we could say, to conclude, to make it simple, from the Ayurvedic point of view, this endocrine gland, dominated by kapha, becomes blocked by kapha or vata, and pitta is lowered, the fire is lower, the heat is lower, the metabolism is lowered. And so it's like a clogged gland, not excreting its hormones. So the herbs, what are the herbs doing? They're heating up and unclogging this thyroid gland, and they're balancing either kapha and vata, or just vata, and they're increasing pitta. So all hot spices, warm foods, ginger, pepper, garlic, all are going to help this condition if this is the cause. And but cold drinks, cold water are going to aggravate it. So in Ayurveda, they have certain dietary guidelines for kapha, which is no heavy foods, no oily foods, and no dense foods, and this lowers the weight, lightens the body, and no cold foods. It thins the blood and unblocks the thyroid gland. Now, the diet alone often isn't sufficient because most people aren't diagnosed until a little late. So herbs are used to also to unclog the thyroid gland, but it has to be supported with the right diet, either a kapha pacifying diet or probably a vata kapha pacifying diet. The main formula that's used in Ayurveda is Kanchanara Gugulu. Now this is a formula, and Kanchanara Gugulu is used for joint pain, stiffness, and it's very hot. It has some triphala, trikatu, and gugulu resin in it, and this gets in and unblocks the lymphatic system, takes away stiffness in the joints, unblocks the endocrine system, and it's a very clearing formula, and it's also used to reduce tumors down. Another herb that's used in Ayurveda is Chandraprabha Vati, and we sell it as clearing tabs, and this is also used for this condition, Chandraprabha Vati, and it's clearing, it's opening channels, and that's what we're doing. We're opening the channels together. Also, ashwagandha is used because that's balancing the vata side, supporting the nervous system and helping with fatigue. So you can see a formula here. We have a thyroid formula. This is a hypothyroid formula. We can see it here, and we can see it helps with lymphatic congestion, tumors, cysts, and unblocks the thyroid gland. There's Kanchanara Gugulu, 12 herbs. There's ashwagandha, which I just mentioned, and there's triphala, amlaki, haritaki, bipataki, and there's Chandraprabha, which I just mentioned, 26 herbs, and Mandukperni, which is for circulation and unblocking. It's similar to Brahmi. And then there's extra Gugulu added because that's the power horse that's really doing a lot of the clearing and unblocking. So this is taken after meals. Most people will need to do multiple jars to get results. And digestion has to improve because this is the cause. Just like we said earlier, this dull digestion with the white film on the tongue, this is the clogged system in the body that's creating the weight gain, and it's also the digestion of the mejidatsu or nerve tissue that's not allowing the thyroid gland to function. So it needs to be cleared, and the digestion has to be strong for the system to process its own hormones, because they're making it from nutrition, including iodine, and making these thyroid hormones, and this is a metabolic process. And if you have poor digestion, manda agni, dull digestion, no appetite, feel heavy after meals, have a lot of food allergies, gas and bloating, then that is the cause of this condition. They go hand in hand. So digestion has to be improved, and since it's mostly a kapha condition, and it's manda agni in most cases, we use this tea, stimulates digestion before meals. And you can see it's very spicy, ginger, cumin, cinnamon, fenugreek, even cloves and black pepper are in there, and a little peppermint. And this is drank with the meals to burn off the toxins and stimulate the digestion and clear the mucus and the blockage in the digestive system. Then after the meals, we're often giving another digestive aid when there's this type of toxin. This one is general digestive aid. Basically, it's trickatu, black pepper, long pepper, and ginger. And this is very good for weight loss, poor digestion and absorption, and elimination. The system cannot be blocked. So sometimes we'll also putting more guggulu in by a formula like this, which is called VPK Detox. And there we have triphala, trickatu, and more guggulu. So this is, and that's why it's so dark, because there's so much guggulu in it. So maybe this can also be taken in the evening to further unclog and detoxify the system. So the person could be taking the thyroid formula after meals, taking the clearing tabs with the meals, and 2 digestive aids to make the digestion nice and strong, and then maybe a colon formula to keep the bowels moving, or at least a detox formula to keep the system unblocked. And that would just be for that one type where the kapha is involved. If we knew that the underlying cause wasn't kapha, it was vata, and there's more dryness and more nerve issues like numbness and tingling, then we'd use a formula like this that balances vata. But you can see there's fenugreek in there, chandashor, ajwan, dashamula, and kalonji seed, black cumin seeds. So it's a very hot formula too, but it balances vata. So it can be any combination. It depends on the individuals. Usually it's a vata kapha person or a kapha dominated person, and pitta is low. So you're going to see all these formulas for hypothyroid are going to be very hot and somewhat stimulating to stimulate that thyroid gland. And the diet's going to be very light and clearing, a lot of onions and garlic and beans, and not meat and yogurt and cheese, and less snacking, and no cold foods and no cold drinks whatsoever. And this combination is very effective. It can take anywhere from a couple months up to 1 year for somebody's thyroid gland to completely recover and restore function, as long as they haven't been on hormone replacement therapy for very long, in which case the thyroid gland stops working. So I hope that helped you understand this condition from the Ayurvedic point of view and realize it is quite treatable. Many Ayurvedic doctors in India are treating it with a similar formula. This is a typical formula used for hypothyroidism. Nothing has been invented here. These are existing formulas that have been used by other Ayurvedic doctors, and I found them very effective if supported by the right diet, and eliminating many of the causes like cold water, snacking, overeating, oily foods, too much meat, too much yogurt even at night is a cause. So these causes that led to the poor digestion, the blockages in the system have to be removed. And there should be more physical activity as well. And then that combined with supportive diet and the herbs, it's a very treatable condition. So I hope that gave you hope and confidence that you can improve your thyroid condition naturally. And feel free to contact me if you like further information about this treatment or other treatments. God bless. Thank you.